Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead, welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Today is President Nelson's 7-year anniversary as president of the church. We've been waiting for this day for a long time because President Nelson, during his whole presidency, has really stressed the number 7. So much so that I have this spreadsheet called Prophets, Sevens, and most of these are references to times that President Nelson has used the number 7 in a very intentional way. And I'm not going to cover this today, but I figured, and a lot of you figured, that this could be significant, reaching his 7-year anniversary. And it just so happens, and I don't think it's coincidence, that we have a celestial event taking place right now. We have the brightest comet in 20 years, and it's visible to the naked eye. I went out last night to try and see it, but I think, if I understand these articles correctly, I think that here in the United States or in Europe, in like the Northern Hemisphere, it's only visible after sunset today, of all days. Although you should be able to see it before sunrise. Like, I don't know. I'll show you what I found. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to go out tonight after sunset. I'm going to try and take a picture of this. But what we're going to do is look at this. We're also going to look at these other celestial signs. They seem like celestial signs that have attended President Nelson's presidency, including the month that he became president of the church. There was some interesting stuff going on back then. I don't think it's coincidence. And it's not just President Nelson either. I have something that went along with President Monson, and I'll show you what I got. So let's start with the comet. Okay. This is Comet Atlas C 2024 G3. Yeah, kicking off the new year, as well as President Nelson's 7-year anniversary. He is now entering his 8th year as president of the church. Comet Atlas C 2024 G3 is on its way. Discovered April 5th by the Automated Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or Atlas. Now, April 5th, Jen with Christian Fire Poppy, she pointed this detail out to me. I already knew about the comet, but I didn't know that it was discovered the day before April 6th. And we've been talking a lot about April 6th lately. I created a new spreadsheet for April 6th and important events that have taken place on that day. Discovered the day before April 6th. And then today, it's visible from Earth during President Nelson's 7-year anniversary. Continuing, it arrived at perihelion, which is its closest point to the sun, yesterday, the day before President Nelson's 7-year anniversary. So the day before April 6th, the day before his 7-year anniversary. And let's see, what's this here? Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to Christian Fire Poppy. The link is in the description box below. And it's the brightest comet in 20 years. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. A comet that orbits the sun every 160,000 years will appear in the night sky this week, offering a rare chance. And then the sentence cuts off. I guess they forgot what they were going to say after that. The comet C 2024 G3 Atlas is expected to be the brightest comet in nearly 20 years, making it as easy to spot as the planet Venus. And I don't know if you've seen Venus recently, but it is really bright in the sky. I don't know that it's going to be that bright, but as easy to spot as Venus. Until this week, the comet has only been visible to people in the southern hemisphere. However, observers north of the equator will be able to view it as it heads back towards the sun. As it heads back towards the sun, what are you talking about? It's reached its closest point to the sun the day that this article is being published. It's already as close as it's going to get. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe the writer of this article had a rough night. Here's a picture. This picture is taken from the International Space Station. of the comet, so they had a really good view. Okay. Astronomers have noted that the comet's increasing brightness could be a sign that it is breaking up, which would mean that this will be the last chance to ever see the G3 Atlas comet. Now, as far as I know, it hasn't broken up yet. But if that's the case, that adds potentially another layer of symbolism, the last chance to ever see this comet. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with President Nelson. He's 100 years old. Is he going to make it to 101? Is he going to make it to 102, 110? Do we have some last chances in our personal life this year before the second coming? I don't know. And then we'll skip down here. This is the part that I think I understand. Just pause and read it if you need to. Anyone hoping to see the comet in the US and Europe are advised to look east towards the horizon around a half hour before sunrise between the 12th and 14th of January. So I guess we're not going to be able to see it after today. I didn't get up to see it before sunrise. I wasn't about to do that. But here's the next sentence. The comet should also be visible around a half hour after sunset on the 14th of January. So I went out last night for sunset because I was like, it can't possibly be that it's only going to be after sunset for a day. But I think that's the case. We didn't see it. So we're going to try again today, and I'll try and get a picture. And I hope that you do too. If you get any pictures of this, please send it to me, especially if you get a picture of it with like a temple in the foreground. So if this is only visible after sunset just for one day in the Northern Hemisphere, what a day for that to be. Okay. Let's move on. So there you go. Okay. I know this is going to be repetition for a lot of people, but I got to do it. We just talked about the fact that the comet was discovered the day before April 6th, and then it reached perihelion the day before President Nelson's 7-year anniversary. Well, last year was a really interesting year when it came to heavenly signs. We had 2 total solar eclipses. And I'm not going to go over all the details of those eclipses. There's a lot to think about, but applicable to this video, there's one thing that I want to narrow in on, and it's the fact that the first total solar eclipse in April, on April 8th, on the Hebrew calendar, it happened the day before the month of Nisan, which the Jews associate with the tribe of Judah. And then on the other end of the year, the opposite side of the year, in October, there was the only other total solar eclipse of 2024, and it happened the day before the month of Tishri, which corresponds to Ephraim. In the first day of Tishri, in Judaism, is the New Year. It's the 7th month, but they have 4 New Years, but that's the New Year that we would think of as New Year, where the date changes. So 2 eclipses, and of all these tribes, these eclipses corresponded last year with Judah and with Ephraim. Remember, in the Old Testament, when Israel was wandering in the wilderness, whenever they camped in a certain order around the tabernacle. And Judah was on the east, Ephraim was in the west, and they grouped in groups of they camped in groups of 3, and you would have one tribe that would be the leader of the other 2. So Judah was the leader of Zebulun and Issachar, Reuben, the leader of Gad and Simeon, Ephraim, the leader of Manasseh and Benjamin, Dan, the leader of Naphtali and Asher. And whenever they moved to another location, it was the same thing. The first group was Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and then Reuben's group, and then Ephraim's group, and then Dan's group. And you'll notice that, now I'm not saying that this right here is doctrine. I got this from Rabbi Gerfine. He's a guy that I got set up with. I spoke to him like for about 2 years every month. He lives in Jerusalem. And in Judaism, they assign the tribes of Israel to these months of the year. And you have these seasons that correspond with these groups. Judah's group, spring. Reuben's group, summer. Ephraim's group, fall. Dan's group, winter. I'm just going to leave it there. There's a lot more I can say about that. But now let's go to my quotes A through Z spreadsheet. What's currently row 275 for Judah. And let's just remember what President Nelson said about Judah and Ephraim. This is from the October. Yeah, this is the Liahona article, The Everlasting Covenant, the October issue, page 11. The tribe of Judah was given responsibility to prepare the world for the first coming of the Lord. From that tribe, Mary was called upon to be the mother of the Son of God. The tribe of Joseph, through his sons Aseneth, I don't know, through Aseneth's sons Ephraim and Manasseh, was given the responsibility in leading in the gathering of Israel to prepare the world for the second coming of the Lord. So last year, again, these two tribes, or if you include Manasseh 3, but if you're talking just about Judah and Ephraim, last year, these two tribes were highlighted by these eclipses on the Hebrew calendar the day before their month started. I have a spreadsheet that tracks comets, meteors, and asteroids. We haven't been here a whole lot recently, just because there haven't been a lot of like significant of these objects that have come on my radar. I just recently found out about this one that we're talking about in this video. I did get a picture of this one, that happened in October, 2023 A3 Comet Atlas. And that one was visible to the naked eye. And it's the first comet that I've seen with the naked eye since I was like a little kid back in the 90s. So for me, this was really rare. And I think it is generally rare to be able to see a comet with the naked eye. It doesn't happen very often. But these are pictures that I took. And I hope I get some more pictures like this this evening, tonight. And then I'll post them on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll probably do a video sharing it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram for additional content. But I'm hoping to get this tonight. And I do think that it means something. This last comet, Sushinshin Atlas, its closest approach to Earth was the day after Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It's weird. It's weird how that happens. Now, if the second coming doesn't happen before then, we have this big one to look forward to. It's like a planet killer, and it's going to come really close to Earth. It's really large. Asteroid 99942, Apophis. But I'm not really looking that far forward into the future, but I'm taking note of it for now. But anyway, we've seen interesting things in the sky, but this one is really interesting during President Nelson's 7-year anniversary. Okay, let's move on. So I have it added not only to this spreadsheet, but also this one, signs, church specific. And I wanted to go over church specific signs that have to do with President Nelson, since we're celebrating his 7-year anniversary. So let me zoom in. Here's the newest one. Okay, we'll just work our way back. Okay, so President Nelson's 98th birthday. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning British monarch, passes away the day before President Nelson's birthday, making him the oldest prophet and apostle of this dispensation. So that's kind of interesting too. Everyone was looking at that birthday because he was going to pass up the one that was the oldest apostle before President Nelson was Elder, I think it was Elder David B. Haight. And then President Nelson passed him up. And on the day that he became the longest living apostle or prophet of this dispensation, the day before, the longest reigning British monarch, Queen Elizabeth, passed away. it's really interesting how that happened. Before that, here's a President Nelson, what I feel like is sign. So rain postponed. As President Russell M. Nelson concluded the prayer dedicating the site of the future Ephraim, Utah temple, rain began to fall. Here's another rain. This time rain stopped. Let's read this. This is from a Facebook post, 2019. Let's see, this is May 18th, 2019. Let's see, this is a quote from that social media post. Yesterday's visit with the saints in Samoa was a blessing and evidence of their great faith. The forecast promised rain, but just after the opening hymn, the rain ceased. It was remarkable, even as if their faith turned off the rain. And then I got this one, credit to Jen Stevens. Here's the link where you can go verify this this is a personal blog of somebody that was also there to see this. So got Jason Bringhurst and Jen Stevens that witnessed this, but rain postponed. September 15th, 2018. President Nelson spoke at Seattle's Safeco Field to 50,000 members of the church. President Nelson said that, quote unquote, the rains had been delayed by faith. So he has seen 3 rain events during his presidency. Let's see, I think that's all for this video. Again, you can check this out yourself. This one's called Signs, Church Specific. The link for my spreadsheets is in the description box of each video. All right, and then, let's see, we'll end with this. This is my spreadsheet called Signs Moon. And President Nelson has had a lot of those. Okay, but first we're going to start with President Monson. So August 21st, which is 3/7 of 2017, you had that first Great American Eclipse. The path of totality passed over Jackson County, Missouri, far west, and Adamanayaman. And it was President Monson's 90th birthday. And this was pointed out by Elder Stevenson in his October 2017 talk, where that's how he starts it off. 2 rare events occurred that captured the attention of people around the world. And then he talks about how it was President Monson's 90th birthday. And then he talks about the eclipse. He points out the fact that it had been 99 years since we had the last one like this that went from like coast to coast. So that's probably significant too. I don't think that he's just pointing out to be like, hey, that's pretty cool, huh? No, I think for people that have eyes to see and ears to hear, they realize that it's a sign. Okay. So January 31st, 2018. January was the month that President Nelson became president of the church. As you know, we are now in January of 2025, 7 years later. And what happened was there was a super blue blood moon, which means a supermoon is when the moon is in in its orbit around the Earth. It's at its closest point to the Earth, so it looks larger. A blue moon, there's different types of blue moons, but the one that we typically think of is there was a blue moon a blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in a calendar month. Okay. Typically you just have 1 per month, but every so often, about every 3 or 4 years, I think it is, you have a blue moon where you have 2 full moons in the same month. And then it was also a blood moon, or a lunar eclipse where the moon turns red. So all 3 of those happened at the same time, and it was 17 days after President Nelson became president of the church. And he's the 17th president of the church. And the last time that this happened, a super blue blood moon, was 1866. The following month, February, there was no full moon. February is a shorter month. And so you ended up having a second blue moon in March. So blue moon, no full moon at all in February, and then another blue moon in March. And it happened to be a blue Paschal moon, which is associated with Easter. And it was on Saturday, the Saturday of General Conference, which was President Nelson's first General Conference as president of the church. So his presidency got off to a really interesting start when it comes to heavenly signs. And now here we are 7 years later, and we have this comet. And it seems like it's only going to be visible after sunset for just this one day today. Okay, later on Halloween of 2020, there was the next blue moon visible across all time zones, which hasn't occurred since 1944. And the next Halloween full moon will be in 2039. So that's kind of interesting. And then the next blue moon was August 31st, 2023. And it was also a supermoon. So again, that's more on the rare side when you have these two different lunar events take place at the same time. But not only that, it was 9 days before President Nelson turned 99 on 9/9, or in other words, September 9th. 9 days before turning 99 on 9/9. And it was also a super blue moon. I don't think it's a joke. Elder Stevenson pointed out that there was that total solar eclipse, which involves the moon, and it happened on President Monson's 90th birthday. So is it a surprise that there would be something like this 9 days before turning 99 on 9/9? Let's see. This is more solar eclipse. I'm going to skip this one. We have this. So going back to the April 8th, 2024 solar eclipse, one other thing about that is that it happened the day after President Nelson and President Oak's 40-year anniversary as apostles. So this, again, not on the actual day, but the day after. And that same one was the day before the month of Nisan of Judah. But it was also the day after their 40-year anniversary as apostles. August 19th, there was a seasonal blue moon. I'm not going to try and explain that, but it's a different type of full moon. It was a super, it wasn't just a blue moon, a seasonal blue moon. It was a super blue moon. And this was 21 days, so 3 sevens, before President Nelson turned 100 years old. And then the most recent one that I have, September 17th of 2024, it was a harvest moon and super moon and blood moon, which according to NASA is quite rare. I know that there was like another, I missed this. I might have to go back and revisit it. I know that there was like something called like a black moon or something. I was too caught up with other videos and other things going on. So there might be something to that. If you have any information, feel free to send it my way. I may be adding on to this in the near future. But anyway, remember 7 in the scriptures, it means perfection, wholeness, completion. When you read through the church manuals, it says that's probably why the number 7 shows up so much in the book of Revelation, because it's the finishing of the work before the millennium. It's like the winding up scene of these 6,000 years. And it's not so much necessarily that there's going to literally be 7 angels with 7 different things, but just it's meant to convey to your mind that, hey, we're wrapping things up. The Lord is wrapping things up in preparation for the millennium. The fall harvest, fall with, Ephraim and Manasseh and Benjamin, it's coming to an end. And I think that this is pretty sound reasoning. I think that we're about to move into winter with Dan, Asher, and Naphtali. Dan's month this year coincided, like the first day of Tevet, or Teves. I think there's the two ways of pronouncing it. The first day of that month coincided with New Year's Day. I think that could be significant. We've pointed out that during Christ's dispensation, he literally fulfilled the Jewish feast days in the month of Nisan: Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits. The Holy Ghost came literally on Pentecost, which is in the month of Sivan, which is a spring month. So Pentecost, Shavuot is the Hebrew name. And then after that, you had a period of apostasy, which I think could correspond with summer. Remember Reuben, because of his transgression, he lost the birthright. But so, yeah, the great apostasy right here. And then this last dispensation, the fall harvest, the harvest before the second coming, it's brought in by Ephraim, and Joseph Smith received the gold plates on Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, the first day of the month of Ephraim. That's when he got the gold plates. And that's been the primary tool of harvest for this last harvest. So I feel like it makes sense that the second coming or significant events having to do with the second coming may happen during the month of Dan, Teves. So we're in that right now as we speak. And it just so happens, again, President Nelson's 7-year anniversary is happening during Teves or Tevet. It's interesting. All right, that's going to be it for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.